All right, today we're cracking open the engine of a totally new kind of digital money. I'm talking about something designed to be stable, a calm island in the crazy volatile sea of crypto. We're diving deep into stablecoins and the really fascinating engineering that's supposed to keep them steady. So here's the big promise, right? What if you could have money that moves at the speed of the internet, but was as stable and reliable as, say, the US dollar? And, get this, you could do it all without ever touching a traditional bank. I mean, that's a seriously powerful idea. But as you can imagine, actually building that, well, that's a massive, massive technical challenge. Okay, so how on earth do you make a digital token worth exactly $1 all the time? I mean, it sounds simple, doesn't it? But trust me, it's a huge challenge. The entire system, and I don't care how complex it gets, it all hinges on one single crucial concept, the peg. And this peg, it's not just a pinky promise, It's an active, living thing. It's a process that's always running. The only reason a stablecoin actually holds its value is because the system guarantees that, at any moment, you can swap it back for the real thing, for that underlying asset. It's that constant, always-on ability to redeem your token that gives the peg its strength. That's what makes it real. So the big question is, how do you actually build this thing? How do you maintain that peg? Well, it turns out there's not just one way to do it. Think of it like cooking. There are a few different recipes for stability. So let's go. Let's peek inside the engine room and check out the three main ways this gets done. First up, you've got the most common recipe. It's called fiat backing. This one's pretty straightforward. For every single digital dollar they create, there's a real dollar, or something super safe and easy to sell, like a government bond tucked away in a reserve somewhere. Simple. The second approach, that's crypto-backed. Now, this one's a little different. It uses a big pile of other crypto assets, like Ether, as collateral. The pawn shop analogy is perfect here. It's like they hold your $150 watch to give you a $100 loan. That extra cushion is called over-collateralization. And then there's the third recipe, the really experimental one, algorithmic. These things try to act like a mini digital central bank, all run by code. They automatically expand or shrink the money supply to try and keep the price locked at $1. And this is where you really start to see the fundamental trade-offs in the engineering. Each recipe has its pros and cons, right? If you go with fiat backing, you're basically choosing maximum safety. But the catch, you're putting all your trust in one single entity, one pilot. Now, crypto backing, that gives you a decentralized crew, which is great, but you're flying through a seriously turbulent storm because that collateral is super volatile. And the algorithmic models, man, they are incredibly capital efficient. But they're kind of like an experimental autopilot that, well, can be pretty fragile when things get rough. The takeaway here is there's no silver bullet. There's no perfect solution. It's all about different choices, and each one comes with its own unique set of risks. But look, all this work to create stability, it's not just some nerdy technical puzzle for engineers to solve. No way. It's actually the key. It's the key that unlocks one of the most powerful, game-changing applications of this whole technology, something called tokenization. Because once you have a stable digital dollar, a reliable measuring stick, basically, you can do something that sounds like science fiction. You can take huge, slow-moving, real-world assets, things that are really hard to buy and sell, and you can digitally slice them up into tiny, little tradable pieces. We call them tokens. Just think about it. Picture a giant skyscraper in Manhattan. It's worth, $1 billion, but all that value is just locked up. It's stuck. You can't exactly sell a window or a couple of bricks, right? But with tokenization, you actually can. You could issue, say, 1 million digital tokens, where each one represents a tiny fraction of ownership in that building. And just like that, poof, anyone, anywhere in the world with just an internet connection could buy a piece of that prime real estate for $1,000. The building owner gets access to a ton of cash, and regular investors get to own a piece of something that was totally out of reach before. It's really about making the physical world as liquid and fast-moving as the digital world. Okay, but what happens when all of this complex, beautiful financial engineering goes wrong? What happens when that stable bridge to the new economy just collapses? This right here is where the real drama is. It's in the hidden dangers, the systemic risks that bubble up to the surface when the peg breaks. And the ultimate nightmare scenario has a name. It's a digital bank run. And it all starts with just a tiny flicker of doubt. Maybe a rumor starts, a question about the quality of the reserves backing the coin, but that little spark catches fire, and suddenly you have a huge wave of people all rushing for the exits, trying to trade their stablecoins back for real dollars at the same time. And if that redemption system gets overwhelmed, or if they can't sell their reserve assets fast enough, the whole thing just freezes up. Trust completely evaporates, and the peg, it doesn't just bend, it shatters. And these crises, they happen with terrifying speed. Seriously, what starts as a quiet rumor on Monday can become a full-blown system-wide meltdown by Friday. You see the price dip just a little below $1, and that causes more panic. The panic leads to a flood of redemption requests, which creates a bottleneck. And that bottleneck, everyone sees it as a huge sign of weakness. Before you know it, the system is forced to slam the brakes and halt withdrawals completely. And that's when the shockwave really starts to spread. And why does it spread? Because in this world of decentralized finance, or DeFi, everything is connected. A failing stablecoin isn't just one company's problem. It's like a virus unleashed on the network. It starts triggering these cascading, forced liquidations in all the automated lending systems. It sucks all the cash out of the decentralized exchanges. You'll often hear them called AMMs. So a single failure in just one corner of the ecosystem can kick off a domino effect that threatens to bring the whole structure down. So where does all this leave us? If we zoom out a little bit from the details, you can see this fundamental conflict, this real tension, sitting right at the heart of this incredibly powerful new technology. On one side, you have this absolutely explosive innovation. The potential here is just staggering. Instant global payments, the ability to tokenize the entire real-world economy, creating money that's programmable and smart. But on the other side of the scale, you have the absolute non-negotiable need for stability. For any of this cool stuff to work at a global scale, you need rock-solid reserves, you need transparent governance, and you need a clear regulatory rulebook. The whole game is about finding the right balance between these two powerful forces. Look, there's absolutely no doubt about it. Stablecoins are fundamentally rewiring the plumbing of global finance. They're creating brand new pathways for money and value to zip around the world faster and cheaper than we've ever seen. But, just like with any massive re-engineering project, the one question that really matters is this: are the new wires strong enough to handle the load? That's the billion-dollar question. And honestly, it's something we're only going to find out as this incredible technology keeps growing and evolving. Thanks for digging into this with me.